I thought I was the healthiest I had ever been until my labs told a different story. I truly believed I was living my healthiest lifestyle ever at 42 years old, but the labs didn't agree with me. At 42, I've never physically felt stronger. I go to the gym 7 days a week. I work recovery into my routine. I manage my sleep. I track it with an Oura ring. I'm doing all of the things that I thought were right. My supplementation game is on point. But I recently did lab testing with a company called Superpower, and the story that my labs told was just not what I was hoping for. I'm eating clean. I'm in the gym 7 days a week. I'm doing the sauna, the cold plunge, every single biohacking trend, you name it, I'm on it. I'm researching it. I'm doing the ones that I believe in. But when I did my most recent round of lab testing, the results were shocking, and shocking in the best possible way, because I am truly a believer that it is better to get ahead of health problems than to wait for them to become an issue down the road. So I'm much more of a proactive than reactive person when it comes to my health. What I've been doing throughout the year is a lab test that is like your general physical exam, but on steroids. You can test over 100 biomarkers in one single blood draw. And on top of that, what I really love about Superpower is not only do they set up the appointment for you, they order all of these labs, things that I had never even heard of, but then they also give you a customized health report to really help you dive in and understand your results and then figure out ways to optimize them. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are returning, it's great to have you back. I love to share health and wellness with you. I'm a 42-year-old toddler mom with a passion for holistic living. And what I've been doing with this Superpower lab testing, I feel is really a game changer for optimizing overall health and wellness, as well as your metabolism, your hormones, everything, all of those things tie in together to make you really feel like the best version of yourself when you know how to optimize them. So if you are like me and you're in your 40s or even your 30s, you will start to notice that you can't get away with what you used to get away with in your 20s. My 20s were, not proud to say it, but definitely marked by a lot more alcohol and way worse of a diet than what I adhere to now. So in your 20s, your metabolism's a lot faster. You don't need as much sleep. Obviously, by the time you hit your 30s, things start to change. And man, when you hit your 40s, I mean, I feel like I just look at a carb and gain weight these days. And I enjoy myself just like anyone else. I love to go to dinner. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably see I'm a foodie, and I like to really enjoy those moments. But at the end of the day, it's all about balance. So for me, about 85% of my diet is going to be healthy, whole foods, hardly ever anything processed. I mean, literally nothing processed, I should say. I avoid sugar for the most part. I drink very minimally at this stage in my life. And so I thought with all of these changes, I would really see this marked improvement in my health score with Superpower. And here's where some of the shocking numbers came in on my most recent lab that I just did in October. So some of my cholesterol numbers were a bit high. And as I mentioned, when you're following a stricter diet than you normally do and you eat healthy the majority of the time, it's like, cholesterol, how's my cholesterol high? And I think it's just this concept of a little bit here and a little bit there. I go out to dinner, I have a little bit of dessert, I have a little bit of wine, I have a little bit of bread. And all of those things were driving some of these numbers up. Now, are they horrifically high? No. Are they a big concern of mine? Not yet. But because they are out of the optimal range, and my goal within this lab testing is to get as many of these numbers in the optimal range, not just the normal range, I want to be in the optimal range because I am going for longevity and I want to be around for a long time for my daughter. So all of these things to me, like I said, being normal or average is not what I'm shooting for here. I want optimal. And so the fact that some of these are out of range, that's just telling me that I have some diet cleanup to do, because you can go to the gym 7 days a week, you can do everything else, right? But at the end of the day, it really all comes down to diet, and I'm a big believer in that. So I will be working on eating cleaner and avoiding those tempting things as much as possible. Again, the holidays are right around the corner. Will I go and eat some pie on Thanksgiving? You better believe it. But the other 6 days out of the week, I'm going to adhere to a stricter diet centered around whole foods, because honestly, when I eat that way, I enjoy eating healthy and I feel better. My skin looks better. There's just so many incentives for me to just do better. But thank you, Superpower, for helping me just kind of really wrap my head around the fact that my cheats were catching up to me. So another recent discovery that Superpower brought to my attention was that my prolactin was high. I didn't even know what prolactin was, and they flagged this for me as being something that I should really look into. And so when I dove a little bit deeper into the numbers, which is really easy with Superpower because their comprehensive health report gives you some explanation as well as recommendations for supplements and ways to correct these numbers. What I learned is that it could be caused by a number of things. It could be caused by stress. It could be caused by overtraining, which I train 7 days a week, so that's really possible that I've just been going too hard in the gym and maybe need to mix up the types of workouts that I'm doing. I do a lot of strength training. So for me, it might be finding more balance, doing Pilates, doing yoga, taking some more time for meditation, and just giving my body a break from the heavy weights that I love. And besides that, it could be a zinc deficiency. So I do supplement with zinc, but apparently not enough. So I went and ordered some more zinc by a brand called Thorne. I really like their supplements. So I will be making sure to take my zinc in addition to the multivitamin that I take, just adding on zinc as a separate supplement every single day. And again, this prolactin was something that I never really even knew what it was. So I did a bit of research on it and I'll share with you what I found, which is that it can affect your hormones. It can affect your progesterone, your estrogen, your cycles. It can cause mood swings, make you a little irritable. So this was just something that I was completely unaware of and definitely something that I am going to work on improving. And as a gym fanatic, as I've mentioned several times throughout this video, if I'm in the gym and overtraining and my metabolism is not optimized, then I'm really just not going to see any progress, right? So this prolactin number can also really affect metabolism and my ability to burn fat. So I want to absolutely address this one immediately. So I heard this saying that I think is really relevant, which is that your body whispers before it screams. So these were like little things that were going unnoticed. I really didn't feel a difference day to day as far as this cholesterol and some of these other numbers that may have affected my hormones. But I think over time, if I left them unchecked, they could turn into a bigger problem. And if you are the person who is just looking at everyone else on social media, we're all guilty of it. And it looks like, all these people are in great shape and everything comes so easily to them. But you are struggling, as I was, with, putting all this effort in and not getting the results that you want. It's even more important for you to look at these numbers and figure out what your deficiencies may be. Another thing that I'm aware of and I've struggled with for a long time is my iron level. It tends to be a little bit on the lower side. So I have decided to purchase a supplement. The iron paired with vitamin C seems to work more effectively. So I made sure to get one that is a combination of both. Also, what I've been learning about supplementation is it really matters what time of day you take these supplements and what you're pairing them with. I have recently upped my vitamin D to a level of 5,000 per day. Plus I live in Southern California. I'm always out in the sun. And yet my vitamin D was still not in the optimal range. So if I can't get it there, I wonder how is the average person getting it there? Because they may not get as much sunlight as I do. I love to walk outside. I take my dog for walks. I love to, get a good sun bathe in on vacation, but yet my vitamin D was still coming up low. And we're actually in the time of year when you get the most sun here in LA. So vitamin D is something that I've learned is more effective when taken in conjunction with vitamin K. With the iron, what I learned is that you never want to drink iron around the time that you're having coffee. And I'm a big coffee lover. I do think that even in the coffee department, I need to scale back. I've been at about 4 espresso shots a day. So I want to lower that number because I just feel like it would be better for me. I've gotten really dependent on it and it doesn't affect me in any negative way as far as I know, but I do wonder if some of these levels are a little off because my caffeine intake may be a bit high. So based on my most recent report, which like I said, the results were a bit disappointing for me, especially because the first time I did the testing, which was back in May, the numbers were a bit stronger. And I really thought that I would have been able to improve my score rather than go in the opposite direction. Here are some of the biggest changes that I'm going to implement and really stick by so that for the next round of lab testing, hopefully I can share with you my improved results and how I got there. But for right now, what I'm focusing on is the supplements I mentioned earlier. So making sure to not skip that extra vitamin D, not skip the extra zinc, not skip the iron. I take that every other day. So I'm following the recommendations that Superpower gave me. You can actually order directly from within their app and they give you a little discount. So that's one option. Otherwise, I would recommend going on Amazon or just doing your research as far as which brands are superior, because I do even think that some brands are delivering absorbable or better quality supplements out there. So supplementation is one, but the biggest part is diet. So I know that when I am on my A game, my diet is going to look something like this. I'm going to wake up in the morning, I'm going to make eggs. I love eating at home because then you can control exactly how the food is being prepared. You may go to a restaurant and the eggs taste great, but it's because they're cooking them with a lot of butter or just maybe, some kind of oil or something that I wouldn't necessarily use if I was preparing the food at home. I think that eating at home as much as possible is going to help you with your portion control and having less temptations. I try to keep everything in my fridge as clean as possible. Obviously, we do indulge a bit. I have a toddler. I have a husband who gets away with eating almost everything he wants. But overall, if you keep mostly healthy stuff and really focus on your protein, I think it's going to be a game changer. So for me, the goal is going to be 120 grams of protein a day. I can get to that just by having my scrambled eggs in the morning, avocado to balance things out. I love avocado just as something that will fill you up and give you the healthy fats that you need. And then after that, I like to make smoothies at home. I share a lot of those recipes with a good clean protein. You can probably get about 20 grams of protein just from a smoothie that feels really filling and tastes very good, in my opinion. Moving on from there, I love ground turkey. I will make ground turkey or ground beef and then put it in like a lettuce wrap. So that's another easy at-home recipe to help you hit those protein goals. And then steak. I love a good filet. I know how to make it really well at this point, so I will be sure to share that in one of my upcoming videos. And then some spinach on the side for fiber and iron, which again, I'm always trying to hit that iron goal, so the spinach is going to help me get there. I love broccoli. And if you stick to that and, maybe reward yourself with like some kind of cookie or whatever your thing is that you enjoy at the end of the day, it's about balance. But I think if the majority of your meals sound something like what I just described, you will really see a difference as far as your lab testing if you decide to go the superpower route. And ever since I had my daughter, my relationship with alcohol has really changed. It's not something that I've ever struggled with. I know a lot of people do, but for me, I was just a really big social drinker in my 20s. I worked on Wall Street. We were part of the nightlife scene. So, to go out and drink 5 or 6 tequila drinks over the course of a night was normal for us back then. And in my 30s, I definitely cut that back to, maybe 2 or 3 drinks a night. But honestly, at this point, I don't even touch margaritas or any drink that looks like it's going to have a lot of sugar in it, because when I struggled to lose weight after my pregnancy, one of the things that I really had to cut out was sugar. So red wine is my vice. I enjoy a little bit of red wine with that steak that I talked about making earlier. So trying to limit my alcohol to just 2 to 3 drinks a week for me as a person who goes out socially and goes to dinners and things like that, I think is a realistic goal. I was probably at a point where that was creeping up to maybe 6 or 7 glasses of red wine a week. So I'm going to try to be mindful and keep that at 2 or 3 because I just think that's realistic and going to help me get those liver enzymes in check. And then the last part is just finding more balance and taking it easier on myself. The pressure of, staying fit in your 40s and working out all the time, which I genuinely love, even just for my mental health. I think I do need to just tone it down a little bit and just work out even if I do it every day, just mixing things up, doing a variety of different workouts might be less stress on my body and will help me bring those levels in check. One thing I really love about some of the younger people that I see on social media and that I've talked to is that everyone is becoming more and more health conscious. I think the drinking culture that I grew up in and, where people used to go and smoke cigarettes in nightclubs and everywhere, that has faded, and that is such a positive thing. So what I wish I got ahead of was some of these things when I was in my 20s and 30s. But I think no matter where you are on your journey, even if you're in your 50s, 60s, getting ahead of these nutritional gaps and things that could turn into bigger problems down the road. It was really important. So I hope that you've learned something in this video, and maybe it's Superpower or maybe it's one of these other companies out there that do this, but I am addicted to this and fully plan to work this into my wellness routine for good. So in closing, my Superpower score is actually down to a 75 from an 83 where I started, which it's good, but there's definitely room for improvement. So this is really just going to motivate me to stay on track even through the holidays. And I really want to just have my energy levels optimized. And I think that following the program I outlined is going to help me tremendously. I took my most recent testing a bit further and ordered their heavy metals kit, which they mailed to me and I sent back. I should have those results back next week. I'm curious what I will find in that report. Hopefully everything is okay, but you just never know what's out there these days. So I am going to share that with you in my next video. Make sure to look out for that one. And if you have any questions about the lab testing process, my results, things you may be struggling with, feel free to drop me a note in the comments. I love to hear from you, and just let me know however I can help you on your health and wellness journey. I wish you good health. If you found this video helpful and informative, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I plan on going all in on health and wellness for 2026. I'm going to share exactly what works for me, what doesn't work for me. You'll always get an honest review. And if you have things that you want me to expand upon, definitely leave me a note. I love to hear from you, and I will be reporting back to you on YouTube as well as my blog. I have a new website that's coming out, and just let me know. My new website and Substack account are going to be filled with all of my health and wellness treatments. So I may even have some exclusive content available within the Substack community. So make sure to take advantage of that, and I look forward to seeing you there. I do not have any monetary compensation from Superpower, but they did give me my membership free of charge. I add on to the membership and I pay for my own labs. Outside of that, I have a code that you can use to sign up through my referral link. There are some promotional benefits and discounts available from time to time as well. So make sure to follow along and subscribe, and I'll keep you updated anytime they are running a sale or if I have any special promotions for you.